Or is it, as I often say in the words of the great Shadow Sanders, is that his name, Shadow?
Shadow Stevens?
No, Shadow Sanders.
Oh,
Sanders.
Shadur. Not
Shador,
Shadow,
Shador,
Shadur.
Saddam.
No, not Saddam.
Uday Kusei. I
Possibly.
mean, I mean, really, Michael, does it all really matter?
I don't know what they're going to call him in Cleveland.
Is that what we
Don't call him late to the training table. He's a Brown now. Yep,
is that where we wound up going?
that's where he's going.
I had a laugh because now I haven't followed this. I know you follow him a little bit because
Because of
he's from
Colorado.
Colorado Buffalo, right? And of course Dion's but it's almost like. And by the way, we're live. It's Mikey and Vinny. We're Mike.
I want to be Mikey today. You can be Mikey on Wednesday.
Okay, and I'll be Vinny today. And we're here Monday,
And
Wednesday, Friday.
read him and weep.
Most weeks we try to make 3 shows. Some days I'm a little sick or whatever's going on, and so we don't get to the 3 shows. We try to get to at least 2 a week, and we're going to try to make that record a little bit better because
One really good one, one insignificant one, and one that you missed.
Well, if I could get rid of some of this crap that's going on inside of my body and try to figure out what's going on. I mean, it seems that I always come up with some kind of um, malaise or disease or something. I mean, I spent the weekend um, with my bones hurting so bad, my joints hurting so bad. I couldn't even really tell you what I had, but I had something. Anyway, to get back to Saddam, no, Shadur,
Shadur.
Shadur.
Yeah.
So let me see if I got this straight. Now I know that Michael A. Smith or what's his name, Stephen A. Smith, and all these guys. Everybody is well, the NFL is dicking the guy around, because first of all, and again, I don't follow it like it's my divine. I got to know what's going on with Cesspot, but maybe he's just not that good a player. I mean, a couple of times I saw him play, I wasn't impressed.
Well, then let's find out.
I
If
thought
they
he
didn't
was.
want him, that's fine with me. If you don't want him as your quarterback, that's good for me. It's
Yeah,
good enough for me.
I don't think that Deion Sanders, because he's Deion Sanders, all of a sudden, what was he quoted as saying over the weekend? That these people are all going to find out who Sedgwick is. No, Shador, Sedgwick. Um, and I immediately, of course, my thoughts went to Kira Sedgwick, was been married to Kevin Bacon for a number of years.
You just
But
want to
it
know
was like
what she has in her mind.
just because he's
Just
Deion Sanders'
because
kid.
you do. That's Lloyd Price, just because.
Yeah. But because you're Deion Sanders' kid, does it make you like a football player all of a sudden?
Well, he was a starter at Jackson State. He was a starter at Colorado. He was a influential quarterback throughout the Pac-12 and the Big Ten and the Big 12.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was a
Like
he
I
wasn't
said,
he wasn't. I saw a lot of his games. He was an impact player.
my sample size wasn't that good, so I'm sure you saw a lot more of what he was all about. It just
I
seemed
did.
to me some of the stuff and I like Deion Sanders. Don't get me wrong, but I mean it's almost like he's got a divine right to play in the NFL. No, if somebody drafts you and they want to pay you money, as my good friend Wayne Unger pointed out over the weekend, a guy that I've known since we used to sit in 90th Street Park at the chess tables and argue about sports all the time. And, uh, Wayne is kind of the same idea that I am, is that
Show me.
comes a point where it's not a gimme for any of these guys. If you're good, yeah, you should get acknowledged, you get paid, and so on and so forth. But you got to go out there and prove it. Maybe he will.
Well, fifth round choice. A fifth round choice is not much of an endorsement. But the
No.
job with the Browns is always open, as you know. No matter what year it is, they always need a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't that tell you something? If you got that kind of blood, that kind of what am I trying to say?
Genetic signal.
That kind of pedigree.
Mm-hmm.
If you got that kind of pedigree and you're that, you're Deion Sanders' kid, and there's still people that are questioning whether how far up in the league you belong. That's one of two things.
I think it's a problem with attitude, not talent.
Yeah. Well, but listen, attitude has brought down many people as well.
Indeed.
And I know coaches that will say to you, give me somebody with less talent, and I'll install attitude in them. I'll install the ability to be a player, to learn the game, to learn
perhaps an attitude that will help them win.
Right.
An attitude that can help them win rather than an attitude that endorses their losing.
Right. But if you have somebody who thinks that they're smarter than anybody else or better than anybody else, I don't need that. I can go out and get, I can go out and get 53 guys that can do that pretty easily.
Well, it doesn't work in the NFL because no matter how good you are, here comes the defensive tackle, and here he comes, and that's the end of that.
Yeah. And I just don't. I don't get when a player, a potential draft pick or something like that, kind of comes up with the attitude of I'm the slickest in the NFL, or I have the, as Wayne so succinctly said, the people that choose these people for that size these people up, size these guys up for a living, and go and lay out a whole bunch of money to get them to their club so that they can use them. Many of them did not think that that Sidney had a lot going for him. Now, again, I don't know, but when his smoke is fire,
compared to Cam Ward, it was Cam Ward all the way.
Right? Yeah. I mean, there's not even a question. And you talk about class. Here's the guy that says, well, I've worn number one at Jackson State. I've won number one out at Washington State, and
at Miami.
And Miami. Maybe it would be nice for me if I called up Warren Moon, whose number was retired.
That's what you do.
And
you asked nicely,
Mr. Moon, not demand it, but say, Mr. Moon, would it be okay if, that's been my number, it means something special to me because of, my father and this and that and the other thing. Can I use the number? And 99 out of 100 times, and probably 100 out of 100 times, the player's going to say, by all means, go ahead.
Go do it.
Go do it.
How many numbers of the Tennessee Titans retired over the years? Probably not that many.
Couple. Isn't Vrabel one of them? Steve Vrabel?
Vrabel?
Yeah, what's his name? That the tight end that they had a few years ago. And Warren Moon. And I think there's one other. Not Steve Vrabel, but
well, you can retire his number when he would. ERA. He's a head coach now.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean, he just seemed to have, to make a long story way much longer than it should be. I just thought that I don't know. I just thought there was a lot of the Dion, the big attitude stuff that I didn't like about Dion. I have this divine right to play in the NFL, which I never thought I don't think anybody has a divine right to play in the NFL.
A lot of guys with great promise. Your promise is going to get me fired. Your potential is going to get me canned.
Yeah. I got to tell you who handled that. Did I remember this from many years ago? Actually, it's almost hard for me to admit that it's many years ago, but probably now, what is this, 2025? So maybe 2015 or so. Young man got drafted by the Pittsburgh Steelers. And and went to the Steelers, and his dad played professional sports, and there was some question about was he going to be able to use his dad's number and so on. But the kid, once he got drafted, pretty much said somebody had this number, and it was retired. I forget if it was retired or what it was by the Steelers. And who am I to try to interrupt that natural process of the National Football League? So you give me whatever number you want. I'm just happy to be playing in the NFL. And that kid's name was
That's the right answer.
Say again, Mikey. You want dead.
I said that's the way it goes in the NFL. That's how it should go. That's a good lesson.
Right. I mean, the kid had enough class to say, I don't want to step on anybody's toes. That I was brought up in a sports family. My grandfather was a player. My father was a player. I was an all-star player at the high school level. Now, I was sad that it never really panned out for Trey Griffey. I don't really think he, was quite the athlete that his dad was, but then who the hell is? And I mean, we all remember him from, Issaquah High School. And what was that? We played a challenger up there, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And, but it was just nice to see that the kid probably could have had his pick of just about any school that he wanted to go to. Within reason. I mean, I don't know that he was that great of a player, but somebody just to have Ken Griffey hanging around campus would have signed him on a scholarship.
Right.
Some athletic department would have made some money off of that. And I just remember that the kid, I guess that's the kid to the second power.
The other kid.
The other kid. Yeah, you'd have to have a marketing department to come up with a name for him. But, they played it right, which is something that, let's face it, Ken Griffey Jr. was not always known for when he was here.
No, not in reality.
Unfortunately, I mean, the image and the reality were two different things.
They didn't match up very well.
A guy that learned, I think, in his later years that these kinds of things mean something.
Like some of the other players, with age, he mellowed out.
Yeah, just that when you get to a certain point that you're going to have enough money. Then what are you going to have to spend? And you're going to have enough cars. And you're going to have enough this and enough that. It's what are people going to remember you for when you are?
How do they remember you at all?
How do they remember you? Right. Well, are you going to be remembered as that little prick that who's or are you going to be remembered as a guy who had some class? And I like the idea that I get to remember Ken Griffey Jr.'s Jr.
Trey. The
Trey or junior to the second power. I don't know, call it what you want. But then I get to remember him for doing something really cool like that instead of being somebody.
Did he ever go to another team after the Steelers?
I don't think so. I think he I thought maybe he went to the Seahawks for
I don't remember that.
I have to look that up. I thought maybe, but maybe not. But anyway, he definitely went to the Steelers. They definitely drafted him, and I know he played there at least, was on their roster for a year. So, but again, he was one of those guys that his daddy taught him right. His daddy had to get taught, but his dad taught him right.
And he was a dumb kid. He knew about his father's reputation, which was
right. No, he knew that.
Right.
Yeah, no, he knew. Yeah, he without a doubt knew about the reputation, and and of course, I think I don't. I think he's 31 years old. Holy crap! Yeah, he played number 15. He wore number 15 when he was here. I remember that. And yeah, again, I don't begrudge the guy anything.
Where did he go to school?
Arizona, I believe. He was selected in the 24th round of the 2016 MLB draft by the Seattle Mariners. So he was baseball drafted by the Mariners. And
NFL with the Steelers.
Went to the NFL with the Steelers. He played with the Modesto Nuts back in 2021.
Nuts to you.
Yeah. Let's see if we see anything else here. The Colts signed him as an undrafted rookie after he was with Cleveland.
Shadur's team.
Well, maybe he can go there and teach Shadur a lesson.
Well, after going in the 5th round, I think he's got a lesson. I don't know if he learned it, but he certainly was taught one. Now it's time for him to take his talent and prove it.
What is he now? Let's see. Trey Griffey is here's Arizona. Let's see. Wikipedia. Handsome kid. Good looking kid. Looks a lot like his dad, man.
Genetics are crazy.
Yeah, looks a lot like his dad. I think he works. I'm trying to see if he works for the Cardinals now. This is good. He's working for the Arizona Cardinals in their community relations department.
Well, I just want to say hello to the San Francisco Giants. They're in first place today, Vinny.
Yes, guess who? Yes, the Giants are there, and the Mariners are there, and the Mets are there. It's like it's a windfall for us, Michael.
We stick with the winners. That's all. How do you guys
Well,
go? Well, we go every day with the winners.
this is a not an easy and automatic occurrence for us, Michael.
National League West is a dangerous place lately with San Diego and the Dodgers.
Well, all of those pitchers that everybody said weren't around seem to have come around for the Giants.
And the Dodgers have 2 on the injured list, 2 of their starters.
Yeah, and who do they
Not
got?
that I'm
Kershaw.
wishing ill on anybody.
Is Kershaw out too?
Yeah,
Yeah, Kershaw.
he's
And I
working his
forget
way
who
back.
else. But as far as I mean, the Mets have not given up a home run. Have not given up a home run at home in the month of April.
So they want to play it that way, do they?
Yep, that's how they want to play it. They have not given up a home run at home in the entire month of April, and I think they may have only given up 3 or 4 maybe not even that many on the road.
Well, the Giants yesterday won, not a walk-off because you don't like that phrase, and a game-ending hit. Helio Ramos, the left fielder, number 17, comes up, slaps one into the right side of the infield. Pick it up. They throw it away at first base. He goes to second. They can't pick up the ball and down the first base line, so he goes to third. Well, they see him on his way to third, so they throw it again. This time they throw it away, gets away from the third baseman, and he scores, and that's it. First, second, third, home, and the game's over. Threw it away twice. Threw it away at first, threw it away at third, and all Ramos had to do was just keep running, baby.
Just don't stop.
They call it a little league home run walk-off win.
Yeah,
we had to refix that as a World Series, a Little League World Series game-ending hit, or game-ending fielder's choice, or game-ending series of errors.
Well, you know what? It's nice to see, Michael. It's nice to see. I don't know how long this is going to hold up. I suspect out of all of these 3 teams that we're talking about right now, that the one that probably has the most staying power at the moment are the Mets. And
But that's your job.
Well, yeah, and they also have an incredible payroll. They spent a ton of money on the team in the offseason. They have a pitching staff that seems to be the real deal.
They have the only polar bear in the league.
And they have the only polar bear in the league. And everything is going right for everybody on that team.
They're healthy. They're healthy and excited to come to work.
Well, they look like the team that you saw the last part of last year, when they, when every time they would need a hit, they would get a hit. I mean, we remember the whole
kit and
everything was
caboodle
going on for them at the end of the year. They just kept, they didn't suffer fools. People did what the manager told them to do. Nobody tried to do more than they were supposed to do. Nobody tried.
We need a hit.
Yeah, nobody tried to be. They played within their limits. They played uh, nobody came up with the attitude of, well, I'm just gonna um, be a hero here. They played to what they were capable of doing, and when they did that, they
That's
started
good
hitting the
advice. That's
ball.
good advice. It's good advice for Shadow Sanders.
Yeah. I think that if Squiggy took that advice, um, you know, Squiggy Sanders, then I think that they might have something there. But again, they didn't try to be better than they really were. They just went out and they tried to be what they were. And was a bunch of guys who were lucky enough to get a couple of breaks during the season and peak at the right time. And I mean, we see it many years, not every year, but many years you see teams like that. The 78 Yankees. 78, yeah, the 78 Yankees, uh, with Guidry and that assemblage of talent. Who was the guy, the second baseman? Bucky Dent, the shortstop, and Doyle, Brian Doyle. Was it Brian Doyle?
I think Brian Doyle is the actor.
Well, no, but there's a Brian. I think he was anyway. But there was a lot of different players that,
Brian Doyle, he's slightly Irish.
yeah, just a little. Well, but he's Brian Doyle Murray actually, because he's brother of Bill Murray,
Bill.
who both of them worked together with each other at Second City.
That's true.
But who was the guy? I think it was Brian Doyle. But yet he had Brian Doyle. Um, uh, from Glasgow, Kentucky. He has a total of one major league home run. I believe he hit it in that 78 series. It was drafted by the Texas Rangers, and he was, he was one of those guys that, he wasn't a great player, obviously, but you know what?
He found a magic time.
Yeah, he got the right hit at the right time for the Yankees that year.
And you can probably blame that or credit it to the camaraderie on the team attitude that allowed an unlikely guy to be the hero.
Right.
To that moment.
Well, that's why baseball to me is always such a beautiful game. We always talk about football and basketball, but there's something about baseball with that Brian Doyle, with that Buddy Biancalana, where the oh crap, who was the other guy I'm thinking about? Was with the Phillies. His name is escaping me now. For the Manny Trio, the Manny Trio. Those guys seem to have this thing where,
and you need that guy. You need that guy if you're going to win the World Series. You just absolutely need that guy.
You want that guy that's sitting down there as 27th or 26th on your bench, don't you? You want
Doyle,
that
get
guy.
ahead.
And, listen, he might spend the whole winter that year opening up used car dealerships, up and down Broad Street, but he doesn't care. On Saturday.
What can I get you, Doyle? I'd like a big orange, please.
He's making $1,000 for each one he's going to. He doesn't care. You mean we're gonna, the Buddy Biancalana is at a Marin High School, right? Marin Catholic.
Marin Academy and Marin Catholic.
Yeah. Again, a guy who, was out there selling cars on Auto, or doing appearances on Auto Row in San Rafael.
Francisco Boulevard.
Francisco Boulevard. Bring your wife, your girlfriend, and your checkbook, and sit back and watch the action.
Don't forget the pink slip. Bring the pink slip.
What was the name of that?
Your wife, your girlfriend, the pink slip. There's a show every minute.
Oh, was it not Putnam? It was bring your wife, your girlfriend, your checkbook, and your divorce lawyer. And 50% of whatever you own.
Bring it on down. We'll divvy it up.
Bring it on down. What was the name of that dealer? I'm not trying. Not Putnam, but it was. Anyway, he got a lot of people in trouble. That guy. The old KGO commercials, man. With our good friend Roland Galley selling those commercials.
The 60-second live read on KGO.
Cost you $1,000, and there was nothing else that sold anything better on radio, was there?
Especially because you got 90 seconds out of them with all the.
Oh yeah, that was the trick. That was that was like Charlie Gear for Denison's, the men's clothier. You bought 60, but you got 90. Was come see us at Denison's, the men's clothier on Route 22. And Charlie gave you, he gave you the read, man. The crap. The guys were smart enough to, the advertiser was smart enough to throw a couple of suits in a box and send them over to Charlie.
You better. That's how the game is played.
It's here's a box of our finest. They just came in. Want you to have the best one. Signed, Denison.
I'm wearing a shiny blue suit right now, sitting here in our palatial studios.
Yeah, if you turn your brights on at night, you could really hurt somebody with one of those suits.
You can see me in Bordentown, all the way to Bordentown.
Just go to the auction and make a right. You can't miss me. Oh man, yes, the old days of back when radio was radio and everybody knew it. What was the
It's 11:22, a little late today, so what?
Yeah, we'll be okay. What? Let me know if you got to go. When you got to go, we could go. I can. I'm sorry I'm late this morning. I was just horribly sick all weekend. I mean, to the point where I couldn't move my bones. But Michael, as soon as I started talking to you, I started cheering up. What was the name of the place, Michael? I meant to ask you this like last week, but what was the name of the place, the bar, that was on Battery right next to KABL? There was an Italian place, and I can't remember. Stugatz? No, I don't think it was Stugatz, but it could have been. Although I did see who you call it doing a commercial last night. They had I can't remember who it was, but it was two of the guys from The Sopranos in the Italian restaurant, in this Italian restaurant that used to be on Battery. It was right around the corner because our good friend Ronnie Brandt used to eat there all the time. She was around the corner. Who you call it was there almost every day too. From K-Fog, the hell was his name? Pat. They had the one guy. They had an Italian guy who was trying to be Irish and an Irish guy who was trying to be Italian. Pat Klein and Tony Salvador. That's who.
What a country.
It's like old Radio Home Week here. We're pulling out names that haven't been heard from in the radio business. And Marconi was alive before they pulled out all of these names. And already we've gone
through. Marconi had good numbers, too.
Well, to be fair, he had
a lot of competition.
Station. Yeah,
let's be fair. In radio, you can't be fair. You get nowhere like that.
Well, but you got to have something going for you. What was the other place? There was KGO was around the corner. They were on. KGO had the.
They were on Front Street.
Upside down building where radio was on the top floor and television was on the second floor. I don't know who was on the first floor of the whole place.
The reception area. Reception and parking.
Yeah. 5 parking spaces for Mickey Luckoff.
He had a lot of friends.
He didn't even own a car. He used to take Golden Gate Transit in every morning. And he says, my contract says I get 5 parking spaces. I get 5 parking spaces. To which, Pat Klein called him up and said, you're ruining the business there, Mickey.
Yeah. It's been 40 years. You can't lose.
In 40 years, you won't be number 1 anymore. So how'd you like that Pope's funeral? Did you watch any of that?
For a funeral, it was very nice. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, they just put the wrong guy in the box. But other than that.
They thought about it. But they got it wrong.
What an absolute prick. What just a real, I mean.
And he's a prick without any effort whatsoever.
Yeah,
it comes so naturally.
It a lot for him. I just, I just said to as I was watching that whole thing, man, I said to myself, this is just a real. What do you call this guy?
Schlemiel.
I mean Trump. It takes a lot of balls to tell. And listen, Michael, we differ on what we feel about the church. But if they invite you to a party and they ask you to wear something, you wear what they ask you to wear, or you don't go.
They ask him to wear black.
Yeah. I mean, the color for mourning is to wear black. That's the way they do it. If you walk into a Catholic church in Italy, you don't see 25 people sitting there in multicolored suits.
In sundresses.
In sundresses, you see everybody's there wearing black. Now, I don't know where Brunhilde got her outfit.
Route 23 in Jersey.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like it came from Dennison's the men's clothes or off the rack at Nordstrom. I mean, I don't know. I got no idea where she signed up for that thing.
You just can't teach class, Vinnie. You cannot teach it. It has to come naturally or not at all.
Close to it, Michael. I mean, you can't. I mean, at the very least, you put on a simple black dress, and just sit there and keep your mouth shut. And then on top,
they haven't got it. They simply haven't got it. They haven't got
Yeah.
the
And
wherewithal
on
to be
top
deep.
of it,
They can't be decent.
yeah, and on top of it, you can't even be decent enough just to say, well, okay, I'll just sit back here and you know just gotta keep my mouth shut and I'll just
Not
mourn,
going to happen.
which is what you're supposed to do when you go to something like that.
It's like
You
telling
mourn.
Polly. It's like telling Polly Walnuts. That's it. You got to be quiet. Not another word. What's he going to do? What is he going to do when you tell him not one more word? Don't utter a single sound. Make no noise. Make no movement of your mouth whatsoever. Polly Walnuts, those are your directions. What does he do?
No, nobody wants to be friends with us anymore, and they got a pretty good reason.
They were interviewing Canadians. They're taking it hard. They really don't like it. They really don't like the whole. They won't forget. They won't forgive. You
And
were your
Russia,
pal. We played second fiddle. Look what you did.
the Canadians are probably the best friends we have in the world. I don't know that there's a better assemblage of people. Now, we always make fun of them. We always, put these ideas in people's heads that they're not smart enough to do this and they're. But the reality is they just have this touch of you know.
Innocence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is really it is. It is. That's exactly the word I was looking for, Michael. Innocence. They're they're not sitting there and trying to create a problem. They're just trying to create a place for themselves. We'll sit here. We're okay. Just let us sit right here, and
And
we'll
they
be
got a
all
big
right.
place. They got a big place.
Yeah,
There's
we
room
got
to
a big
grow.
place. We got room for everybody. Don't worry about sitting in the front row. You can sit in the second row, or the third row, or the fifth row. But you guys come in and you feel like you got to be in the front. That you have to have a seat made for you,
And you're pushing and you're shoving and you're elbowing and you're rude and you're loud and make us uncomfortable.
and you're wearing the wrong fucking color.
That's our color. That's our color. Hey,
I said, we're Italian. We know how to mourn. Okay, we invented it. The Medici's and all of the Italian people, they invented the whole mourning at a funeral thing.
and there was a lot of funerals that they had to go to,
Yeah.
one after the other, after the other, after the other.
Oh, they had a funeral only lane on the main street going down the thing in Rome. You went down, you had to sit over here and wait, and then you go 2 blocks down in the Irish or on another street. They were always mourning.
They like a they like a funeral. The Irish.
Oh, the Irish love a funeral. Irish and Italians, I mean, always got something going on with the funerals. But the thing is like the whole thing with the sit there and just sit down, keep your mouth shut. It's not a thing if the Italians go to the wrong funeral. You know what's going to be a problem for? It's going to be a problem for you, and for you, and for you. Not going to be a problem for us. We live here. We're home already.
We're in the high HOV lane. No, it's not going to work. Never mind.
Yeah. There used to be a sign
Never mind.
on the Long Island Expressway, and it was this huge sign on the LIE, and it was right outside of Lefrak City. You know, and Sam Lefrak was a good friend of Donald Trump's old man. And he had a huge sign out there. And the sign said, and I always remember this was during the 1964-65 World's Fair. A huge sign said, if you lived at Lefrak City, you'd be home now. And that was in the days when Lefrak wasn't Lefrak, he was Lefrak.
Just a frack.
Lefrak.
That's why I didn't get invited to the Pope's funeral.
Did you see the deal with Trump's house this past weekend?
What happened? The power go out like it did in Spain?
Now, I mean, if you want to buy a house in Queens right now, you're probably going to go for $700,000-800,000, maybe even $1 million.
Yep.
What's going to cost you to buy, a decent house? They wound up selling, which I believe it's a 2-story.
The frack special.
Yeah, left frack special. It's strangely reminiscent of Levine and Levine.
Yeah.
And so anyway, they sold Trump's house this past weekend for, I think it was $650,000.
Did the Saudis buy it?
I mean, what a shitty customer you got to be to lose $300,000 on a house that's been in your family for how many years?
Connie from Queens. Hello there.
I mean, the guy can't sell his parents' house and make a profit on it. He got the house for nothing.
Donnie from Queens. Hello.
Donnie from Queens. It's just, it's amazing. It's so out of whack.
The funny thing is, he can say things like, "I talked to Xi in China a couple of times. We talk all the time. We're negotiating. It's all but done." And the Chinese say, "We haven't talked to him, not once."
Talked to him for years.
And nobody says, but the Chinese say, "You didn't call him. Are you lying?" No. We talked. We talk a lot. I don't want to comment on it right now. We talk.
No, you can't get him for. In a popular phrase heard on many Chinese radio stations, you can't talk to him for all the chi in China.
For all the chi in China. For all the chi in Tina.
For all the chi in China.
All the chi in No, not the chi. All the tea. All the chi in China. Oh, God. I thought you were doing it by accident, but you were doing it by, you were doing it by accident. I thought you were doing it on purpose. All the chi in China.
All the chi in China.
Yeah, you go to Chinatown, you can get your chi. A nice pair of red slippers, too.
Oh, yeah. And they're selling those cheap these days. The president of Target. There's actually somebody that runs those stores.
Yeah.
I know.
He may say he does, but he doesn't. It's just madness in there. It's chaos.
Yeah, the president of Target has decided.
We got nothing on the shelves. Everything was in China. We had sheep, but we don't have any more.
We had tea for chi, but you can't get it now for all the tea and all the chi.
Not today. You mean all of it? Yep, every single bit of it. Where do they keep the chi? Over there in China.
Some grown in Mongolia if you can wait. Anyway, it's now, it's another one of these ridiculous things where we'll wind up, getting rid of it, selling it to somebody at a bargain basement.
The frac prices.
Yeah. The price is previously reserved for Lefrak and his son Levine. Oh man! Mikey,
Should we meet again on Wednesday, Vin?
How did we get here? That's all.
Well, the weekend was over. The weekend was over. Monday rolled around, and boom, we're up.
Did we pay them to put us on the bus, or did they pay us to get on the bus?
We're paying them just to go about their business and pretend that nothing happened. Just go on. We'll figure it out. Okay, not today.
I don't want to create an international disturbance. I tend to try to leave that stuff to our president. So
125% tax on chi.
Yes, see if we can find some chi in China. And well, one good thing, Michael, is did everything seem to work okay when getting on the airwaves today?
Well, that was good because we had so many problems on Friday.
Well, we had extensive problems on Friday. And some pretty extensive ones on
Saturday too.
Oh, Saturday morning was horrible, man. Saturday morning was brutal. We couldn't get the show on the air on Saturday morning. I mean, I played around with it for an hour. And I don't know what happened. And I haven't had a chance to talk to StreamYard, who is our provider.
You got to send him a ticket.
I'm going to call him when I get off the air here and try to find out what in the gobbledygook was going on. But we couldn't get anybody to straighten out what was going on our show. So we had no show on Saturday. They sent me a note that said that it was a ticket. It was a free ticket. Wasn't good for anything. It was just free. So they sent us the free ticket. Did the Boys of Summer. So anyway, well, yeah, let's try to see if we can make this thing work again on Friday. No,
Wednesday.
On Wednesday.
Too much chi. You're drinking too much chi over there.
That's me now. And that's a hard thing to do, but it's not easy. So Wednesday we'll meet again. We'll be here. I'll be here at
9:55.
the prescribed time. Maybe I'll put together a bunch of oldies and we'll play American
Run
Pie.
the greatest hits.
Pie. Did you play that? Did you ever play that song?
Sure. Don McLean.
Yeah. You just played the song and you had to sing the song until you missed the words. And then you were disqualified from the various songs. So if you knew all the words, you won. But nobody knew all the words.
Nobody could.
To American Pie. No, nobody had it. Nobody could.
Not even Don McLean.
Don McLean. Yeah, you couldn't come up with all the words. So you weren't going to go far. But, it was fun. But I should have told you, Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you.
I prefer that song to American Pie.
Love that song. Love it. I mean, he didn't have a really bad song, did he?
No, not really.
Yeah, I mean, he had a nice little string. He made some money in the 70s. And he had some decent, and Vincent and American Pie and Castles in the Air and I don't know, 5, 6 others that were pretty good. And he's still a Canadian hero, Canadian. I mean, he's in the Canadian Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, so is the girl singer. Helen Reddy.
Yes. I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar, with numbers too big to ignore.
Rawr. Too much G. No doubt about it.
Maybe that's what we should do on Wednesday, Mikey. Just do a whole show dedicated to the Canadian members of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, we'll put on one. You can play one Rush song and take a long break.
Well, I'm still disturbed that they won't. That they don't have. I mean, why the hell isn't Neil Sedaka in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I mean, not for nothing, but who has created more great music for radio stations in the 60s than Neil Sedaka? Yet nothing.
It comes up mud.
Nothing. I think that's blasphemous. I doubt that half them people that vote for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame could tell you where the Bill Brill building was.
First, you got to find Broadway. And if you can't find Broadway, you can't find the Brill building.
Yeah, these guys aren't going to do it. They couldn't find Brill building. They couldn't find the Brill building if you spotted them Bernie and Steam in the name of the building. Sorry, but they're infinite. They're bad people, Michael. They're bad people, and they'll never be good until they put Neil Sedaka in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Well, they need a Veterans Committee.
No, they just need intelligence, Michael. That's all they need.
Wrong department, Vinnie. You know that.
How in the world could you not have Neil Sedaka in the
You're on every jukebox in Queens.
How could you not have this guy in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I mean, he wrote as many hits as
Leslie Gore had dresses.
As Leslie Gore, as name an artist of the 60s, the late 50s.
Ellie Greenwich.
Who?
Ellie Greenwich.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and Ellie, I mean, I think she's still alive. No, man, I think she passed away a couple of years ago.
Yeah, you're right.
But I saw her at one of the last David Letterman Christmas shows that I went to.
Wow.
She was standing on. I let her have my cab. Erin and I was standing there waiting for a cab, and we were standing at catty corner from the building, the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Ed Sullivan, yeah.
And she came walking up 52nd, and I was looking for a cab. And I said, "Do you need a cab?" And she said, "Oh yeah, I got to go to this something." I said, "Well, here." Stepped out, put my arm up, got a cab, and said, "There you go. Merry Christmas."
Good for you, Vin.
Selling Greenwich.
Boom, 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 pow, boom,
Yeah,
boom, pow.
come on. Her and Jeff Barry. I mean, now she wasn't with Jeff Barry, but who gives a damn? She was Ellie Greenwich.
And she had answered the question, who put the bomb?
Yeah, she forgot more words to rock and roll songs than anybody remembers. How would you even, how would you like not even think of that? Anyway, so she got the cab.
She got the cab, and I got the kitty to
And
ride.
I thought, Katie, no, no, she had to go somewhere. And and you know, I'm there with my daughter. We're not going anywhere. Where are we going? We're gonna, you know, I'm gonna show her some and give her some bullshit story about something that I did 25 years ago that she's probably has no idea what I'm talking about anyway. So, hey, you get in the cab. Matter of fact,
Here's the short version.
Downtown.
The cab's yours. There's a short version, and that's it. The long version you don't want to hear.
Well, she had that. She had that. She had a show that she was on that I believe that she was headed to. That it, you know, her and trying to think of who else might have been in it, but
Songs from the 60s.
yeah, you know, it was they put together a bunch. Paul Schaefer put together a bunch. There's another guy. I mean, I don't know if he's in the Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but if that freaking guy isn't in the Hall of Fame, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they ought to shut the damn thing down. I mean, talk
Well, they
about a
keep it
guy.
open in Cleveland, where Shadur Sanders will go by and
Yeah, he'll stop by and say, whose number's retired? Get me Trey Griffey on the phone.
all right, Vinny, off we go. I'll see
Peace,
you Wednesday.
Michael. Peace, love, and Manischewitz, baby. I will catch up with you on Wednesday.
What a wine. See you, Vin.
All right, take care. Thank you all for listening, too. We'll catch up with you Wednesday morning. It's Mikey and Vinnie right here on the Intergalactical Broadcasting Network. Bye-bye.
The Chi Network.
Coming to you live from Chino, California.